Hi everyone. All right, today is Friday the 13th. So today we started our morning out with our movement in our book. For math today, we on our decimals. So we worked on these all day long. So we worked on the test first, and then students that need to make corrections, we continued practicing with those. So I was pulling different groups throughout the day, and we were going over and making those corrections are done. Students, all of that's been uploaded into Skyward, so you can check and see their grades there. Some students did great doing the for the bonus points and got some extra points added, and so all that can be seen on Skyward. And then for reading today, we continued with autobiography and biography. That is in Seesaw. So if you go to your activities and you go to reading, all right, so today we read on page 11, we read My Electric Year, and then students broke off into breakout rooms and they talked about whether or not this was a autobiography or biography and then why. And then their independent work today, I keep getting in the way, let me move me up here. So their independent work today was to look at these two small passages and decide whether or not this was a biography or autobiography and how they know. And then they had a book sort here where they classified each of those. And then this can be turned in now. And then for writing today, we were also in Seesaw under our week 13. So for this day here, for this writing assignment, they should have, we turned this in today. So on Monday, they should have all 3 boxes filled in. Tuesday, they should have all 3 boxes filled in. Wednesday, they picked 1 box. Thursday, they picked 1 box. And Friday, today, we read this passage and we talked about run-on sentences. We said run-on sentences have 2 or more sentences that should be written separately. So, for example, in this sentence, Patsy found her slipper, the dog had chewed on it. Those are 2 separate ideas. They need to be split apart. And there's 2 ways that you can do that. So the first way here is you can just separate them by making 2 sentences. Patsy found her slipper, period. The dog had chewed on it, period. You could also create, or you can also correct this by rewriting it as a compound or complex sentence using a conjunction. So we've talked about these conjunctions when we talked about fanboys and the rules where you have to have a comma and then you have your conjunction. So Patsy found her slipper, comma, although the dog had chewed on it. So here we went through, we read this about Ethan and Luke, and we found the sentences that were run-ons. We talked about why. And then students, for their independent work, they needed to rewrite this here, and they needed to make sure that those sentences were written correctly. And then once they finish that, they can turn that in. And then in science today, all right, so students turn this in, so they should have page 1 done, where we guessed we pulled these items out of the box and guessed what natural resource they were. Then we made our thank you letter for Earth. We went on our field trip. We made our hamburger chains. We made our own where we traced everything back to soil, our natural resource. It's a video we watched. This one was a timeline we created using this chart here, talking, just having a visual representation where we were showing the distance between these just as a representation of how long they take to either develop or grow. We had a response there. Today we went and classified each of these as renewable or non-renewable. And there's a video here to watch. This one you have to be, no, this one's a YouTube. This one here, you have to be logged into, this is just an animation showing fossil fuels, and you have to be logged into your Launchpad to to have this work. So students did that, and then they turned that in. And then for social studies today, we had under week 13, the social studies assignment needs to be turned in for week 13. And then while I'm here in Google Classroom, let me just go over the things that need to be turned in. So everything in this folder, I told the kids they can go in and for the adding and subtracting, we are pushing back. We're pushing back the financial literacy. We went ahead and gave the kids the full time today to do the decimal test. And so we pushed that back. So we didn't do the lesson on financial literacy today. So this Friday independent work, I told them they could ignore it and just turn it in. They only need Monday through Thursday. So I still have quite a few people who have not turned that in. Then this here should be done. So everything in Google Classroom under week 13, just those 3 things should be done. And then for Seesaw, the only other thing I didn't talk about is the fluency check. They're just recording themselves reading. That needs to be done. And then the decimal test, if you see this come back, this is where they were doing their retest. I wanted to see their work. So when they do it in Aware, I can't see, how they would write this, write out the problem and, what they're highlighting and so on. So I can't see all that. So I asked them to do it on here so I could see. So if this comes, and parents, if you're looking at this and it looks, like why are they only answering just some of the questions? Those are the ones. Those are the ones that they missed. So I had them go back and try them out here. So with the tutorials, I know some of you wanted to have or to be in tutorials, or if you're a parent watching this, I know some of you wanted your kids to be in tutorials, but I only had so many spots. So I'm trying to reach everyone. So here is what we practiced. There's videos down here of how you do this skill. So rounding was something that across the board for 4th grade, we didn't score very high on. It was one of our lowest standards. So that's why we're going back over it in tutorials. So I recorded the videos of how you do to the nearest tens, nearest hundreds, nearest thousands. And then there's practice. This was the question from the benchmark that we didn't do well on. And then these are the types of answers that we got. 450 was the answer here. And we got all kinds of other stuff here. So I put this here from the benchmark, and then there's practice questions where they can zoom in and see this better, and they can solve those. So if they do this, I'll look at it and I'll check and make sure that they're doing better. So I assigned it to everyone, so that's why that's there. And then fluency check, science, writing, reading. The other thing is the student biography. So they had a research project this week, so this is due today. And everything else, the writing benchmark review we're still working on. Everything else should be, everything from week 12 should be turned in. Oh, excuse me. Small group week 13 we're still working on. I'll turn that in. Everything from week 11 should definitely be turned in, and everything from week 10 should be turned in. All right. So we are at the end of our grading period. So I'm still going over and grading things that students turned in today, but everything on Skyward is updated and can be checked to see those grades. We had lots of time today, as you saw. I gave lots of time for them to check, make sure that they're finishing their work, and then they had some fun Friday activities for those that were caught up at the end of the day. And so I told them, I was like, send me that work. I need it. So they had lots of time to work on it. So they did get a lot in today. So that was good. So I'll keep grading those, but keep checking, keep checking Skywards, because sometimes I check something and if it's still not passing, they need to go back and look at it. So everybody keep looking at your stuff. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Have a great weekend, and I'll see everybody on Monday. Bye, guys.